Yo, what's going on guys? It's me, Scooby. Today I'm going to show you the top 5 best shader packs for the latest version of Minecraft Bedrock edition, so if you're interested, stick around. As always, if you do not know how to install add-ons or you want to download this add-on / shader packs for yourself, links are in the description down below. At number 5, where we have the Rewanston Shader. Now, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but this shader pack is epic. It specializes on reflections of certain blocks that makes it much more realistic and all that. It doesn't have much in terms of wiggling leaves and all that, so if you're more interested in that, this shader isn't for you, but it has great reflections in terms of blocks. It also has some great shadows and all that, and has a very cool looking night, but other than that, that was number 5. At number 4, we have the LS Origin Ultra Shader Pack. Now this one is a very cool shade in terms of leaves and that. It has very cool looking water, it's very see-through and all that. At night it looks great and all that. Has some very subtle shadows that some people might enjoy. It's very aesthetically pleasing, especially this one. It's one of those shaders that doesn't change too much, but what it does change, it changes well. The water at night is a bit less see-through, but it has some super nice reflections, and underneath water, it's very nice and bright and all that, very sweet and all that. Even has some glow to certain objects in the distance underneath the water, which is actually very unique in terms of shader packs. It doesn't change too much in terms of the light, it doesn't make it too bright or too dark and all that, which I think is an upside because some shader packs overdo it on the light sources and make it a bit too bright. But other than that, this was a very bright and colorful shader pack, so on to number 3. At number 3, we have another reflective shader, and it is the Musk Rose Shader. Now this one's like the other one, doesn't change too much in terms of wiggling leaves and all that, but it makes reflections on certain precious ores and all that so much better. Just look how realistic you can basically see the clouds in the reflection, and makes them much more 3D, which is super neat. The clouds in general are much more 3D too, and it just looks so great, the sky. It's super awesome, very bright honestly, but it has much more emphasis on like darkness in terms of in shadows and all that, which is super neat. By far one of the best aspects of the shader is the water. The water reflection is kind of epic. It just looks very realistic and all that. And other shaders that kind of make the water moving up and down and all that, this shader pack doesn't change that, but what it does do is give it like shading almost and reflections to make it have the illusion of moving up and down while still looking super realistic. In terms of lights, it doesn't mess around too much with the lights. It's just kind of the stock standard with a bit of shader glow to it. It's not too much different, but it by far has one of the best reflections I've ever seen in shader packs. So with that said, let's hop to number 2. At number 2, we have the Haptic Shader. Now this is a very well-rounded shader pack. It does everything other shader packs do, but slightly better. In terms of wiggling leaves, it has some of the best wiggling leaves I've ever seen. It's very bright. It's almost like a thumbnail maker's dream. It just makes everything nice and bright and all that. Everything's vibrant and all that. The water is basically standard water, but it does sway up and down like other shaders. It's a little less intensive on your device than other shaders. The shadows are nice. They're very subtle and get darker as further you go into the darkness and all that, which is cool. At night it's a bit dark in terms of other shaders and all that. It's very dark. It's not normally the bluish color that other shaders do. It's very dark, but the light sources are very nice. It's very orange, so this is a shader pack that focuses on orange rather than just white light in terms of light sources, but it's very nice and not too bright and not too dark like some shaders, which is pretty cool. Where this shader excels at is the nether. The nether looks absolutely beautiful. It's just very nice and vibrant, and the glow is really pleasing to your eyes when you look in the nether, and it's not too dark. It's just perfect. It doesn't do much in terms of when it's raining and all that, like most of the shaders on this list, but it's very sweet nonetheless. So with that out of the way, let's go to the penultimate one, number 1. And finally, the shader pack that everyone has been waiting for is the OSBES shader pack. It is by far the best shader pack you can get on Minecraft Bedrock Edition for mobile devices, without any RTX and all that jazz. Now this shader pack by far is one of the best that exceeds in all the categories out there. Not only does it have great lights and all that, it has great everything. It's very well optimized for mobile devices. If you look at the clouds and all that, it looks excellent and all that. The water is very nice and reflective, not as realistic as some of the others we've seen earlier, but it's still very nice and reflective and all that, super awesome. If we go to the shadows are nice and dark and all that. It's much more jarring compared to some of the other shadows that I've seen on, but it's still perfect. If we go to night and all that, it's very nice and dark and all that. There's some nice glow from the light sources. It's very optimized as well. It just looks excellent. If we go to the water at night, it's very dark and all that, but it does have a reflection of the moon if you get it at a certain angle, which is epic. And as well, if it's raining, it has one of the best looking raining ever. It comes with puddles and everything. It's super awesome. The rain looks very realistic. The puddles look also very realistic and all that. It's super clean as well. And finally, the nether. The nether is also one of the great things about this shader. It looks just perfect. Now, it is a bit dark in certain places than other shaders and all that, but it still makes the nether look incredible compared to how default nether looks. So if you made it this far in the video, comment down top 5. But other than that, if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.